Love is strange. It's stupid. And I think that's why everyone keeps talking about it.
We won't give up on each other. Ever. We got this. I promise.
I'm too old for this shit.
I know, Mom.
Alex, are you having an episode?
No. What are you doing, Alex?
History lives in a woman's bones.
This is an Oscar-worthy performance.
Morgan, you have a piece of my heart. Every morning I wake up and I want to be a better man because of you. Will you marry me?
Selfish. Look at me.
Most theater is bad. Most community theater is boring. Have you seen it?
I wanted to prove that I could act my way through anything, even love.
And in case you haven't noticed, people don't care about you.
There's only two types of people that make history and people that study it.
No matter who you are, you're the villain in someone's life.
So you think I should keep trying?
Yes. If you're going to use your voice, you have to understand who's listening.
I think everyone can find love.
Words, words, words.
Hey, Big Bird. Are you alone?
No one is here.
Fred Richani. I have right here via Zoom a very special guest. She's an actress, a model, a filmmaker, a philanthropist. She's got a lot going on, most notably a film coming your way to a film festival near you by the name of Madly. We're talking to the awesomely talented Allison Dayne. Allison, thank you so much for the time. How's everything going?
Thank you for having me. Everything's going great. Getting through life and post-pandemic while still in the pandemic as an artist, it's a fun time.
Indeed. The struggle is real. We just saw the trailer that we showed for Madly, which is coming to a film festival near you. But can you tell us a little bit about it and the whole process? Because you act, you write, and you directed this whole film.
That is true. So Madly, basically what happened, the story is we were going to be putting it on as a play in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And it got canceled 2 weeks before. And I had like Tyler Perry, casting directors. I had all these people signed up to come see it. And it got canceled 2 weeks before because of COVID-19. And then everything just shut down, as you know. And I was just so desperate to make this story. I don't know. It was just like a fire in my belly. And I just needed to get this thing out. So I talked to SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, where I got my master's. And I just kept emailing, hustling, begging, as unknown artists do. And I convinced SCAD to give me equipment and locations for free to co-produce my feature film. So it's the country's first feature film produced by a film school. And then, what you do, you work 9 jobs for a few months. I think it was like 70 hours a week for a while, and saved up every penny to make this movie. And Madly's a modern adaptation of Anton Chekhov's The Seagull, about a manic playwright that has to learn what it takes to really get into the limelight.
That is impressive. And God bless 70-hour weeks. I feel that. How are you feeling these days?
Oh, way better, after the editing, after everything. It's so funny because it's like you think the project's over, and you're like, oh my gosh, set, it's done. But then it's like, nope, you got to edit it. And then you edit it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, we worked on this. We manufactured this beautiful piece of art. And then you think, oh, we did it. And it's like, no, there's PR. People have to like you to watch your film. People better see your face. And so then you're like, oh, I'm at the bottom. So filmmaking is just kind of like these molehills of like getting up eventually to a mountain and then you realize at the top of the mountain, it just ends. And then you're right back at the bottom making another project, it's just kind of the creative process with everything, it feels like.
And the funny thing is I've interviewed multiple actors turned filmmakers who have said the same thing. Like prior to COVID, they did a lot of stage work. They wrote a play, and then all of a sudden, because of COVID-19, they made it into a film, whether it be via Zoom or just creative editing or filming or anything like that. So I'm just curious in terms of the casting process, because it's not always easy for a stage actor to go to regular acting and vice versa. Did you have the same people in mind in making this film, or did you have to do that whole casting process all over again?
Oh my gosh, that is an excellent question. So, I have to adjust physically for that one. No, we lost some people just because of timing. I did originally want the original cast, but then it just didn't work anymore. And the script changed. I mean, I changed as an artist from the pandemic. The story I wanted to tell changed significantly. I lost family members, I lost friends, I lost colleagues from COVID. And I was like, I've changed as a human from this, experience. And like, what type of art do I want to say? And what type of message do I really want to get out there for people? And the message is you're not alone and to keep going. And I just had to work on it. I mean, I was in pre-production with this one cast. What was it? 6 months. And then that fell through. And then I was at the bottom again. And then I found a brand new casting crew, auditioning, asking, and really just like reading people's energies and just trusting them. My DP, director of photography, Antoine Flowers, and I met, and it just became like this, I don't know, this friendship, this kinship, this mentorship that I was so grateful to have, because Antoine is worked on all these amazing projects, but this was also his first feature film as well. And then James Carey, the co-director, who I worked with at my production company, we did this play at the Alliance Theater in Atlanta called Blackbird, where with my production company, we put it on, and then we gave the money to the Georgia Children Advocacy Program. So that's just a different story. But then James came in, and he's directed shorts. He's done all this amazing LA, big boy director stuff. And I just they just believed in me, and they helped me understand the process. And that was really it. And so for casting, I just had these ideas in my head, and thankfully, the universe just kind of gave me this beautiful unknown Atlanta talent. I mean, and that's the thing that's crazy is there's so much unknown talent. And it's also important to know who actually has the work ethic and the drive, because I think there's a lot of want, but there's not that much drive. So really what I paid attention to was just their resumes and meeting them in person. Just seeing who was there. Because I mean, there's a woman that plays my mom. Her name's Lainey Smith. And we had so many women read, but it wasn't until I met them in person, we really felt like, oh, you could be my mom, and understanding that was a big part of the process. So I would just say with casting, it's trusting your gut and trusting a person's resume and trusting if they really have the drive for it and not just the want for something.
Yeah, you mentioned about like wanting to do it and really, putting in the work. Like you really find out who wants it during a pandemic when they're taking the risk to go there to meet you in person and everything. When COVID rates are going up and all that, and then just the unique circumstances. Because I'm sure auditions weren't and practice rehearsals weren't conventional compared to previous times, pre-2020. So do you think in a weird way the pandemic kind of sort of helped you weed out like who really wanted to be a part of this film and who was just like, yeah, it'd be cool to be in this little thing?
Oh my gosh. I think that's true about a lot of things, I think that statement and that sentiment's true about like how badly you might want anything in life, anything external. I mean, I got hit by a car, and I got hit by a semi truck 3 years ago, I think it was. So I lost sight in my left eye. So I'm legally blind. Fun fact. I know you didn't see that coming, but boom.
Wow. How are you feeling these days?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm still blind, but we're good. And that was still something too, was, I got hit 2 months after, I moved to Atlanta. And so I was very like I had all these external things. I had this insane concussion, I had all this different stuff. But in the meantime, I was still doing the Atlanta Fringe. I was doing Alliance. I made these little shorts. I was doing a writing residency. I got picked up by my writing agent. And it was really just like, and one of my therapist put it really well, is like, you can look for an excuse anywhere, but you can also find a reason anywhere as well. So I think for the artist, I mean, yeah, you can use the pandemic as an excuse, or you can use it as a reason to make something. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd say it's an excuse or a reason for anyone right now. You know, you can find any reason to get up or stay in bed.
Now, you're based in Atlanta right now. I know your journey's kind of taken you different places. We talked off the air about how you modeled in London and Dubai. So you've been all around the world. I got to ask you, how did this acting thing start for you? Did you always see yourself as a performer from a young age? Did it kind of find you? How did you get to where you're at right now?
I don't know. It's always been with me. You know, it's just always been there. It's just the thing I'm supposed to do. Thankfully, I found my passion at a young age, and it's the thing that gets me up in the morning. And, you know, the deity of art is who I, you know, sacrifice my love to. And the community, the culture, the challenges. I mean, being an artist, you have to, you know, be mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared for anything. And I think, you know, when you are an actor, you just have to be your best form of yourself so you can play every version of yourself, you know? Mm. And when I was little, apparently I went on stage, and then I ran off stage and I told my mom I loved the big lights, and that was it. So I grew up in Boise, Idaho. I know. So potatoes, I can tell you all about fry sauce. If you have any questions about Napoleon Dynamite, let me know. Okay. And from there, I went to this little art school called Arts West, because I was severely bullied, you know. So my parents were like, maybe we should put you in a special school with all of our beautiful, special, sensitive, artistic people. Because for some reason, being 6 foot with a speech impediment, you know, cystic acne and all that fun stuff, and having curly hair and not knowing what to do didn't make me popular. Can you believe it? And then I did Idaho Shakespeare Festival apprenticeship, fell in love with Shakespeare, and then went to school in Utah. And that's where I hosted Sundance, and I learned about filming, and I did my best to understand the art of a camera. And then I got accepted into Second City's comedy studies program. So I did that during my undergrad, where I was there. I was the youngest one in my class. And so that entailed me calling my dad, going, can you figure out how to get me a fake ID? And him like Googling, being like, I don't think it's going to come in time. Like, I don't think we can figure this out. So, you know, did that, came back, did a little TED talk on my original theory of comedy in Utah. And then I got my master's in Savannah at SCAD. Did an off-Broadway show of Titus Andronicus, did some modeling all over the country by now. And that was really it. And then I was like, oh, do I move to LA? Do I move to New York? And one of my writing mentors was like, try out Atlanta just to see how it goes. Because if you, as he put it, if you financially fail in Atlanta, it's not as awful as if you fail in New York or LA. Yeah. And, you know, valid point. But now I'm to the point where I'm definitely ready to move on to New York and LA and all of those big boys. Cause you know, I made a feature film now. So we got to step on through to the next area of life.
What a journey so far. So you're saying eventually you'll probably leave Atlanta for LA or New York. But as far as like the film and TV scene there, it has exploded over the last decade. I mean, between, you know, Inside the NBA, The Walking Dead, you know, your film, of course, and then a lot of, you know, so many, exactly. And then so many independent creators there. It's really grown into like a major media hub. Can you just talk a little bit about kind of the growth that you've seen over the last few years and how kind of inclusive it's like become for people, especially for filmmakers like yourself?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Atlanta is if you want to make something, it is incredible to find people that also want to make something with you. You know, if you can find your tribe and your crew and people that you love and respect, I mean, it is a significant place to make things. As far as the TV shows, I mean, you can't walk down a street without seeing a sign for base camp almost anywhere. I mean, Marvel films there now. I mean, Ozark, all of the stuff was there. So it'll be really interesting to see as it keeps growing more. And my hope and desire is, you know, Madly does well, so I could make my dream is to write. Basically, my dream is to be like, you know, the non-binary Ryan Murphy for my people, you know, make some more artsy TV shows. But I think Atlanta will always just keep growing. I think the city is ready for it. And so many people are moving here, you know, I'm like, get out of my city. Rent's getting too high. But I think it's a wonderful spot. And I mean, it's very inclusive and it's always on the nose for what's coming up. And I mean, you can go down the street, meet a wonderful film director, and then, you know, go to the Vortex and see some great stand-up. It's a good city for if you want to like keep nurturing your mind and, you know, challenging yourself. What I'm excited for Atlanta to do next is to grow artistically. To get way more points of view in the city, have a little bit more challenging art in your face. I think that's the thing that Chicago and New York do really well is you can't escape it, all those strong points of view. And I'm excited for Atlanta to get to that point as well, for sure.
So more challenging than acting, writing, and directing your own film?
You know, yeah, I would love that. You know, I definitely love that point of view. I mean, I want more people to do it all the time. I definitely want, you know, my dream is that anyone that has an idea is just able to make it happen, because I can't imagine that pain of being riddled with something, an idea, and not being able to make it. You know, that's why I'm so careful when I write something, even in my diary or even a script idea, because the moment I start a script, I cannot put it away until I physically have made it. So I'm so careful when I write something, because people say, oh, you have writer's block. I'm like, no, I'm so well aware of my habit as a human that if I write it down, it has to be made. So, you know, I hope everyone can just, if they write something down, be able to make it happen.
There's one thing I really want to ask you about, which is your Leading Ladies production company. From what I understand, you've worked with so many different nonprofits, especially for domestic violence, sexual assault victims. You've done a lot of great work, and I'd love to just give you the floor to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, thank you. So Leading Ladies was, I started that in my sophomore year of undergrad. So many moons, but not too many. But I write an original work, cast women of all forms and put them on stage. And then I give the money that was made from the production to a nonprofit that mirrors the production. So probably one of the largest ones I did was called The Experienced. And I traveled around and I interviewed all different forms of domestic violence, abusers, victims, children. I mean, a lot of point of views on the subject. And then we made verbatim pieces where I interviewed these people, and then I got the actors and the artists to kind of transform into those people. And it also included paint, dance, whatever. And we gave the money to the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition. And then I was able to give a talk with Elizabeth Smart about children's rights. Another one was helping out the suicide hotline. The Rape Recovery Center. But really what it is, what Leading Ladies does is if I didn't write an original play, then, you know, we pick a play. For example, How I Met James Carey, the co-director, I put on Blackbird, which focuses on child abuse. And then we put it on at Alliance Theater. And then the money that I made from that, I gave to the Georgia Children Advocacy Program. So I make nothing from it. I want to make sure my artists get paid, but it's really just, there's something really powerful about like just putting on a show in front of people's eyes, and then them knowing that what their ticket went to was the thing that's actually going to help, what the place is on. Because if you're able to financially help and emotionally and physically help a situation, that's how I think change can really happen, especially in a community. Because if you see a story and you're changed, or you're inspired by that story, and you know your money went to that, I mean, it does the most important thing, which is it starts a conversation. So that's what Leading Ladies is all about, is making art and then helping the community in some way that I can hopefully do. So yeah.
Absolutely love that. Much respect to you. An amazing cause. On the lighter side, we always like to ask our guests some kind of random rapid fire questions just to get to know them better. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Favorite cheat meal or late night snack?
Oh, easy. Chocolate chips with popcorn.
Favorite spot in Atlanta?
Ooh, besides my bed. Oh gosh. Probably probably Grant Park.
Cool.
Yeah.
Favorite actor and actress?
I know that's a hard one. There's many, but probably actress. I am in love with Laura Linney. And actor Brian Cox. Incredible vocal work.
Yeah. Favorite movies?
Ooh, okay. Silver Linings Playbook, My Week with Marilyn, Chinatown. Fargo. The Farewell. Loved that. That came out. Casablanca. Who doesn't want to love life like that?
Yeah.
Spinal Tap. When do you not want to watch Spinal Tap? Airplane. When do you not want to watch Airplane? I mean, there's just so many. Yeah. Moulin Rouge.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Come on. So yeah.
Favorite spot in Idaho?
Oh, besides my bed. Oh, there is this amazing little spot in Boise. And it's the Flicks. It's this tiny independent movie theater, and it's called the Flicks, and it's my favorite spot. And if I ever am sad or whatever, it just has the most beautiful movies, and you can rent them, and that's the best spot for sure.
So it's your happy place.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If I could get married at the Flicks, I would. It would be too small and everyone would wonder why my catering is red vines and popcorn. But we live on a budget. So.
Yeah. You'd save some money, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You've traveled all over the world. Besides Idaho, besides Atlanta, what's your favorite place you've traveled to?
Oh, Cork, Ireland, for sure. And then the Cliffs of Moher is probably the most beautiful place I've seen in my life, for sure.
Wow. What's there to do in Cork?
Drinking. And then walking around, you get to see sheep. I mean, it's just out of a fairy tale. There's beautiful slam poetry. You're just going to see people that are just like smiling and they're having a good time and you're having a good time and everyone's holding a book. So they're well read. I mean, it's just beautiful,
I think if the Cork, Ireland Tourism Committee was watching this, they would be thanking you profusely. So
thank you. We got to tag them. I need
exactly. Yeah. Listen, let's get that money, right? Most awkward moment as an actor.
I was Maggie in Cat in a Hot Tin Roof. And there's the scene at the end where they're like, hey, we get the house. And no, you don't. I mean, people would butcher me for how I'm putting this. Don't, please read the play. And my partner comes up to me about here and he changed the blocking for some reason. And my blocking was to do a nice stage slap, and I missed and I knocked out my scene partner because he changed the blocking and I wailed on his face. And so yeah, that way, and then we had improv around that for a moment, and then he came to. So everyone was like, Maggie's crazy in this version, and I was like, no, I'm not. My actor didn't go to where he needed, but it's my. Yeah, that was a bad one. That was a bad one. But he was fine. He was like really into it. He was one of those actors that was like really method. So maybe it worked out for the best. But
there's a future in bare knuckle boxing for you, I guess, too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's why you're interviewing me, baby.
Yeah. There you go. Got the MMA background. Oh man, one thing that I've learned the hard way in taking acting classes of my own is just everything that goes into it, right? Especially like memorizing the lines, getting a feel for a character and everything else. I know actors have their own respective methods, but if you can shed a little light, what's your method on memorizing lines and how to just perform on point when you're off book?
Oh, wow. It's different with every character, I feel like it is, but I'm definitely a visual person, which is fun because I have one eye. But highlighting and writing it down is my trick. Just literally, some people like to do that first letter thing. And I know you've seen that where it's just like I cannot do that. It looks like a language from Lord of the Rings for me.
Looks like something out of like Inception, right? Or Signs. Yeah. Like it's so.
It looks like Winona Ryder and Stranger Things 1. Like yes. I just not there for it. So I just writing it down and sometimes just listening to myself, incessantly while I'm at the gym is my other one. And hopefully once my trick too is like once I get the blocking, at least for a play, that once it's in my body, then I can figure it out. But yeah, no, it's just kind of like repetition until it breaks you or you break it, That's just the one thing about it for sure.
What's your most awkward moment as a filmmaker?
Oh gosh. Oh man. There's so many. My most awkward moment, as a filmmaker, really is just pitching the idea to people, trying to get people to buy, because an idea is the most expensive thing a human being can make, and pitching people madly on this modern, beautiful, diverse, gay representation, diverse cast story of, like a 15th, 16th century Russian play originally. It's a hard sell. And so I would say the most awkward part is just pitching, getting people to see your vision. And because if you don't get them to see your vision in your head, then you just look really awkward. And it's uncomfortable for everyone. And then you just kind of slink away, like a slug back to your cave. But yeah, I would say that's it, is getting people to see what you see. And probably the most awkward moment is just like me practicing when I said, I worked nine jobs. I worked at the Red Phone booth downtown in Atlanta, and I would practice my pitch while I was making drinks, these really fancy drinks, because these bartenders, they're like blindfolded with ice and they're doing fire flames. It's one of those like ultimate bar experiences. And, they'd be like, Allison, we need an old fashioned. I'd be like, so here's the buzz. There's this movie going on. And, and they're like, what are you saying? And I was like, oh, I'm practicing my pitch. And it's just like 3 a.m. These men don't care about theater or film at all. And so I would say that's it. Is like the awkward moments of filmmaking is when you're trying to be a filmmaker, not in the right situation. And so you're just like doing it just because you have to. If that makes any sense. So yeah. That'd be it for sure.
How the hell do you balance everything?
How do I balance everything? My mom and dad are very helpful. I have amazing friends. And I finally have learned it's okay to say no. And that's a big one, So I'd say balancing is, I think I call it the BS monitor, because you're an artist too. You have a good one of like, I know when I'm doing my best or I know when I'm not. And I think being really in tune with that, for yourself, is how you balance everything.
What's the best advice you've received for success so far?
So when I was at Idaho Shakespeare Festival, you have to do all this different stuff backstage, so because you get to do a showcase, you get to do all this different stuff. And they were doing Taming of the Shrew that year. So I had to run and go get ice and water for the equity actors. And I was just so happy to be there. And I was running, and guess who I saw? Bill Hader from SNL.
Really?
This is during the time when he was married to this gal from Idaho, and he happened to be there. And I remember just dropping the ice buckets and just being like, oh my, passing out, just diva drop in front of Bill Hader. And I went up to him and I was like, hey, you're Bill Hader. The thing celebrities love, pointing out their name. And he was like, yeah. I was like, I love you. But please, how do I do what you do? Like, what is your biggest advice? And I was just like sweating. I'm wearing all black, puberty was not doing well at the time. And he could have been such a jerk to me, but he wasn't. He just said, quote unquote, don't be an ass and never be late. And he's like, and then you'll be fine. And, I've kind of lived by that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I can confirm you were super early for the Zoom meeting. So I appreciate that and everything. Yes. And you are definitely not an a-hole. So much respect for that. So yeah, I think you're taking Bill's advice pretty well so far.
Thank you. I hope he notices one day. We'll tag him. We'll ask him how Barry's doing,
Fair. And in one line or less, when it does come out, why should people check out Madly?
1, because you will be challenged and changed. 2, it's hilarious. 3, there was so much love and passion put into it that I don't know why you couldn't I don't know how you could turn away from it. And finally, because there's so much unoriginal art and so much copy and copy and copy, or as BoJack Horseman puts, a Xerox of the same film. This is not it. This is in your face. This is abrasive. This is challenging. This is fun. This is theater. This is sex. This is family. All of that and more is in this film. And I guarantee you, if you watch this film, you will not believe that this was the cast and crew's first feature. You will not believe me. You will not. So I dare you to watch it, honestly.
I will definitely watch it. That is one hell of a pitch. I can tell that you've worked on that multiple times, especially,
this is literally the first time I was like, oh yeah, why should people watch my movie? Well, because.
Well, you nailed it. There you go. You nailed it. You can definitely check out Madly, coming to a film festival, perhaps a theater near you sometime in the future. Before we let you go, where can we find you online and where can we find you next?
My goodness. I'm in pre-production for a TV pilot with the same crew. We are trying to put together, here you go. It's the true story of how a Atlanta sugar baby got out of $2 million worth of debt. And it's a dark comedy. So we're working on that right now and hopefully going to get that pitched out pretty soon. Fingers crossed. And then how can you find me? My Instagram is Allison Dayne, Dayne. I have a website. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me, I
think, and you also, I saw online, you also teach too?
I do. I private tutor, and that's going really well. And I helped co-found this thing called Class Share. It's an online school for children who want to learn how to be in the entertainment industry, do improv, act, any of that stuff. And that's with Way Hunter, and she's in Atlanta, Georgia. But that's it. That's a kind of, I've had to take a little step back from that at the moment, but I still private tutor for a select few people, but they have to, audition and, do all this stuff for me. But, I'm happy with my students.
Of course, your time is valuable, and I'm sure they appreciate that as well. We appreciate you and your time. It was an absolute pleasure learning about your journey. Bonus question: is there anything you wish I asked you in this interview?
Gosh, I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Is there anything that you wish? I mean, my favorite animal is the sloth, and I think that's a good thing to bring up about me for sure. And my favorite food is spicy food. If I tell the waiters to make it as hot as they think I am, and I'm never disappointed. So that's it.
I love that. Hey, maybe one day, if you want to do some voiceover work too, you can be a sloth.
Yeah, true. I would love to be a sloth one day, or get so many animals,
For sure. Allison Dayne, thank you so much for your time. You can follow her online. You can check out Madly coming to a film festival and perhaps a theater near you very soon.